What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Man, you already know it's your boy Uncle P, and we're talking about voting today, man. I have my brothers, man. Both two very knowledgeable men from the city of Chester, from outside the city of Chester. But we're here today to talk about voting, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart, right? Since I started the radio station, I always want to talk about voting. Make sure my people understood what voting truly was. Make sure we're getting the information properly. We can disseminate. We can give it to our children. We can pass it down. But now it's getting to a point where there's a lot of people playing on our miseducation, right? So today we're going to try to just break it down so you understand, right? This is not in we're not on anybody's team on this podcast, even though we are in our life outside of this podcast. We're on a team, you feel me? And we want to be mindful of both competing factions. And let's introduce our host, man. Go ahead, Drew.
So I'm Andrew Nelson, concerned brother, community member, citizen, and I'm excited about talking about the process, voting, why I think it matters, and hopefully by the end of this conversation, maybe everybody that's listening will agree that it definitely matters and that we could use it as a tool to help us.
George.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening, brothers. George, man, just an advocate for positivity, man, and change. Like, I still believe in change. I still believe things can happen. I still believe in togetherness. And what I realize is that we all don't even have to be together, man. If the right people is together, we'll trigger the energy for everybody to jump on board. So that's kind of where I want this conversation to go. Because people be having their own reasons for whatever their situations or circumstances they've been put in. So I just want to just clear some heads, man, before, the election. It's kind of hot in the city right now, actually all over the place. We're seeing ads all over the place. I mean, everybody taking shots and
it's silly season. This
yes.
is silly season, right? So everybody
yes.
needs to act silly. But all right, so the primary election is Tuesday, May 19th, right? Right around the corner. That's the day after tomorrow, right? So, damn, ain't that the title of a movie? A crazy movie, The Day After Tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah, I think I heard that. The day after tomorrow. Wow.
Right. And polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Delaware County says a completed mail or absentee ballot must be received by 8 p.m. on May 19th, right, to be considered. And the Delaware County election hotline is 610-891 VOTE, right? Vote, right? I'll put that down at the bottom. Pennsylvania is a closed primary, right? So it's a closed primary. So what does a closed primary mean? I'm going to let Andrew Nelson, Professor Drewski, explain exactly what a closed primary is.
All right, so a closed primary basically means that you can only vote along party lines. If they had an open primary, then they would allow other people to come in. But so if you're a Democrat and you're a registered Democrat, your ballot, you can only vote for Democrats to be on a Democratic ticket to represent in November. The same is true for a Republican. If you're a Republican, you're going to be handed a Republican ballot, and you can only vote for Republicans that could be representing the ticket in November. If you are independent, Green Party, Libertarian, you will not be able to participate in the Democrat or the Republican primary as a result of it being closed to people who are not within the party. So some people might think, oh, is that voter suppression? And the answer is no, it's not. It's just understanding that this vote is for party. And if you're independent, you're basically saying, I'm not choosing a party. I'm staying independent. Therefore, the parties don't allow you to have a vote in party voting.
I get that. I understand that. So that's what a primary is. You can only vote your party. So if you're Republican, you can only vote for Republican. If you're a Democrat, you can only vote for Democrat. So on the ticket, these are the offices that are up for election in November. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, U.S. Representative, Congress, PA representative, the 159th district, state committee, and local committee members. Let's start at the bottom of that list, right?
Mhm.
Local committee members, right? Now, there are people running in the city, right? I think Miss Carla Beaver
Right.
is one of them. She's running, and
And I believe Trina
Trina, yep, and
Trina Love too. Yeah.
Trina Love is also running, right? So these are people that we know, right? There was times
Mhm.
where we didn't know who was on the committee. I believe there was. So what is a committee? What does a committee do? Right? Let's talk about that. What does the Chester Democratic Committee, what do they do? Drew?
Yep. Great question. So, Chester has wards and precincts, right? So we got first ward, first precinct. First ward got a second, a third, a fifth, a seventh precinct. Second ward, third ward, they all have multiple different precincts. Each ward is allotted 2 committee people, right? So, no, I want to say each precinct because I think it's a large number. Each precinct has the ability to have 2 committee people. So 1-1 could have 2 committee people, 1-2 could have 2 committee people, so on and so forth. Now, that person is supposed to be the community liaison, right? You're supposed to know your block. You're supposed to know your people that you live around. And you're supposed to have conversations with them, understand their needs, understand their wants. And then you're supposed to be that liaison that then brings it back to the party and says that, hey, this is what we have in 1-1. This is what we have in 1-6. This is what we have in 3-1, right? And all of those people collectively represent the actual communities. So when every election season, when the aspiring elected officials come and meet, it's not feasible for them to meet 34,000 people. So instead, they meet the committee people. They stand before the committee people. Those committee people then vote yearly as to who is going to represent in the Democratic primary, right? So in order for them to be able to come before us to get voted on the primary, when we vote on primary day, they get voted on by the committee people on who's going to be endorsed by the Democrats, right? So that's like a background party politics situation. They're supposed to be the ones that are representing us. We vote for committee people to go and represent us as Democrats or as Republicans if you're a Republican committee person, right? But represent the people in that process of preparing. So every level got a part. Committee people determine who's going to get on the ballot for the primary. Then everybody goes and votes for the primary on who's going to represent the party in the general election. And then in the general election, everybody votes for whatever your side is. So the committee person is like where the rubber meets the road.
Okay. So what they like our voice,
Yes. So they should absolutely
like the
be
voice before, like, okay.
Yep. So, but like a liaison,
Okay.
right? Because the representative is the person that gets elected, right? So the 159th representative, that's going to be a person that's going to represent the 159th district at the state level. The congressional level, that legislator is going to be the one that's going to represent us at the federal level, right? The committee person is the one who, and then the city council person is the one who represents us at the city level. But then in the background, fielding all of those candidates are committee people.
What you think, P?
So the committee person, the committee people are they the ward leaders?
So no, ward leaders, it's like, I think it's one ward leader per ward, and they are supposed to be like the head of all of the committee people. So if we had a fully functional system, right, every single precinct, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-5, 1-7, 2-1, 2-2, 2-4, they would each have 2 committee people. So by the time it's all said and done, it would be like 140 committee people, right? The ward leaders would be the 11 heads of each of those. So first ward might have 15 committee people, right? There would be one ward leader that would be the leader of those 15 committee people. They'd all work together, and then the ward leader would be the highest amongst equals. So now, whenever there's something that needs to get done, again, in an ideal situation, the ward leaders will have a meeting, come back, bring that information to all of the committee people, and then the committee people and the ward leaders together will work together to get done whatever needs to get done for that ward that you're living in.
How
And
often
then,
does a committee person's meeting occur? Just once a
so
month?
yeah, the way it is plays out here, there's just one Democratic committee person's meeting, and everybody comes collectively as a group. Now, with that being said, a ward leader could say, okay, well, I want to meet with the committee people twice a month, right? One on the off month and one at the main meeting when we meeting with everybody else. And we can cover our business for first ward. So that way, when we get to the monthly meeting with everybody, we can address our agenda points. It can be designed like that. It is not functioning like that because we just don't have a fully functional system.
Why don't we have a fully functioning system?
Right.
I'm so cross generation lack of understanding, lack of education, lack of transparency. This has been a long time, right? Like Chester has had its political woes going all the way back to the time that the five families was running the city. So I think that it's a little bit of long-standing, like I said, generation after generation of not understanding, not having transparency, and now we're in a situation where I think a large amount of people just don't really understand how government works, and it don't help none that the school district don't really teach strong civics or government classes.
Right.
So in order for an organization to function, you have to have people that know how to run and manage that organization effectively. And I think we're struggling there. So I don't believe that there's one place that we could point blame squarely at. I think we have a collective of things that's hurting us, and we just got to work towards it a little bit at a time to build out these structures and have these functioning processes and systems because we need them.
So what you're saying is we have a bunch of fumbles and nobody knows what the live ball is.
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Right. I get that. Right. So for me, it's about identifying these 140 people. So what are the qualifications of a committee person?
So you got to live in that area that you're running in.
Right.
So right now I live on the east side on 24th Street. So my precinct is first ward, or first precinct, whichever one comes first, but I'm 1-1.
Right.
And for like maybe 4 or 6 years, I was a committee person for 1-1. And you got to get 10 signatures of someone registered for the party with which you're looking to become a committee person, whether it be Democrat or Republican. You got to circulate your petition, show that you got at least your 10 signatures, 10 qualifying signatures to get you on the ballot. And then once you get on the ballot, just like any other elected official, you get voted for, and whoever has the most votes win.
Now, can you be a felon and be a committee person?
Oh, I don't have that exact answer, but my guess would be I'd respond with a question that you guys might know more than me. Can you be a felon and vote?
Yes.
So then I would say that you could be a felon and a committee person, my guess, because I can't imagine that you having a past crime keeps you away from being a public advocate, especially at the committee level. If there's rules that keep you from holding like some kind of council seat, all right, I got it, whatever. But committee ain't, it's not like you're a voice of the community. And I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around how that would preclude you from being able to do that. So the short answer is I don't know, but I can't imagine that's the case.
Yes, if you're eligible to vote. Okay.
Thank you, Tariq.
So they do. So Ms. Zulian Mayfield was on the show this morning on the Cut Up Podcast, and she was like, P, get somebody to write your name in as a write-in for a committee person, right? So I live down here. I don't know what ward this is. 5th and Penn, right? I don't know, who to talk to. We got to figure that out, right? Um, but I wouldn't have a problem with being written in to be a committee person, um, because again, it takes all of us doing something to get something moving, right?
Right.
And many hands make light work, right? How what do we want? What do we see? What are we trying to do? So that's the committee person. Then we have state committee. What is state committee?
Cool. So state committee, right? So state committee is very similar to what I just described to you as a city committee person, but they do all of this on a state level. But then they also, so they have like tasks where they like state committee will work together on crafting, changing any kind of modification to actual policy and legislation that goes through the state House of Representative and in the Senate. So state committee is actually a very strategic role.
Mm.
Someone who says, man, I'm so tired of seeing laws come out of the state house that don't represent me. You're the person that needs to get on state committee, right? Because now you're going to have access to a lot of these bills when they're in draft mode and they're being analyzed and they're being scrutinized. State committee plays a role in that. They also, it was listed in the paper, the precincts. Thank you for that. It also, they in the same manner where we would field candidates as committee people at the local level, they field candidates for statewide races as well. So
a committee person for Chester or a committee person for an entire area, like the 159th? Is
state
that
committee. So the second, I was talking about the state committee. State
yeah, the
committee,
state committee.
on a statewide. So
Okay.
you might be from Chester, but you get elected to state committee. Now you're doing statewide legislation, not
Oh,
just
wow.
legislation for our area.
So
Okay.
who from Chester is a state committee person? No.
Christina Delver was a committee person at one point.
All right.
I think this last go round, I think it was Shaquan Davis and Malcolm Yates, I believe, and I think Malcolm is running again right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who else.
No, you're not lying, Johnny. You're not lying. I mean, voting is typically low in the black area. Let's talk about that, right? For years, we've always heard whispers come through our community that our vote doesn't count. Nothing happens for us when we vote. Look at where we live. Look at what's happening. Look at the crime. Look at all the things that's happening around us. Do you think that is a logical reason not to vote because of the crime, because of the things that happen? And what do you think voting could actually change if we actually took it serious? I get that question loaded. I know it's loaded, but
no, that's cool. I'm a piggyback off of the professor. So go ahead, Drewski, take your time.
I don't think that my answer is going to be the answer that y'all expected, but here we go. I'm gonna give you the real answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm feeling. So if we had been having this conversation just a short 30 days ago, I'd have said to you, hell no, that's not a logical outcome. That's crazy, right? Our vote is literally our political capital. This is what I would have said to you. I would have said that for every vote we get, it's like an arsenal of chess. If we could come up and be like, yo, I could deliver 30,000 votes in favor of your candidate if you need A, B, C, and D, we are winning, right? This would have been the conversation I'd have said to you. It's so important for us to show up and vote, but not just vote, but vote strategically, right? So that we can get what I want. I would have had this conversation with you. And then the Supreme Court changed the ruling for how they see the Voting Rights Act. And as long as you have to prove intent, no longer effect, but you have to prove racial intent for discrimination. It's hard as hell to prove intent without someone saying, I did this racially. Excuse me. They understood that when they first drafted the bill to be based on effects of racism as opposed to the original way it was written. but history has forgotten because we don't know our history. So now we're in a position where now they're saying, oh, well, we're not going to use race as a determinant factor. So in order to do it, we no longer going to do racist effect because that can, they said it was counter racism. So the long story short, now they're able to violate voting rights, and basically gerrymander the United States, right, to water down the vote of marginalized groups. And unless we can literally prove that they intended to do it racially, we can't do shit about it to fight back.
Wow.
So now, today, if you say to me, well, is that not a logical conclusion? I would say that still probably not logical because our best shot is to at least try. But it's kind of hard for me to argue against a person and say it feels like we damned if we do and we damned if we don't. I'm struggling with that now. I'm also willing to admit that this is an emotional, right? So I'll leave this to my big brothers for this one now. That's where I'm at.
Wow. Well, Pete, give me the first part of the question again.
Do you feel as though the whispers that come into our community are true, that our vote doesn't matter, our votes don't count, right? Nothing changes, everything stays the same? Because I get how people feel like that, right? I would understand. If you're from Chester and you're looking at the school district and you're looking at the city and you're looking at the finances and you're looking at the way things are moving, they're not moving in the trajectory to tell you that anything worthwhile or worth the community, you understand what I'm saying, worth the community's expense in voting for you is coming to Chester, right? There's no why. There's no place that we have the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. We do have a pool down on 7th Street. We do have that, right? But there's no building during the wintertime where the kids can go and swim, right? There's no building during the wintertime that can house the kids if they're in a disruptive household. You understand what I'm saying? Like, where's that safe place for the kids located inside of the community to protect the kids, to guide the kids, and to allow the kids to see what they can be? Where's that safe space, right? Shout out to the Cat Center. Shout out to Miss Tripley. Shout out to everybody that's working, you feel me, on their projects to help our children understand who they are and what they could be, right? Shout out to them. But we need more. Right? We need one concentrated place where all the kids can go. We need one concentrated place where we as nonprofits can work together. That's where we're at right now. You got a net, you catch a couple fish, let's put our nets together. Let's go out here and catch some real fish. That's how I feel. But again, the question is, do you feel as though the whispers that come into the community from outside of the community are true about our votes not counting?
To a certain degree, yes. I mean, I can see why some people are taking that approach because of the leadership. So like some of the leadership, the way it's getting passed down from candidate, it seems like we're not going anywhere. So, it just seems like it's just a new team. So say if we looking at it in sports terms, we in the division, we're in the NMC Division East. So it's like, here comes a new team. So every team is just taking over and doing things their way with a different style playbook. So we're not following the playbook that would be considered for the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we all should be on the same playbook. Like each person, each candidate, each rep, each mayor, everybody should be following the same playbook. They don't. They come in with different with the West Coast offense, or they coming in with Chip Kelly mindsets. And it's just like, it's throwing us back. So we never, we recycling the same messy energy, and it's deterring people that might want to be on the bubble to vote. So, I can understand that side of it, but I also see the flip side where brothers like us, we start these conversations. You know what I'm saying? It got to start with these conversations, and it got to lead to different votership. So we got to put the pressure on the candidates. The candidates just play off their friends to win the elections, man. That's all they do. They play off their friends and people that they might have gave a couple favors out to, whatever the scenarios is. But it's like they're not really solely winning off the votership in the community. How many people is in Chester how many residents do we have in Chester, P?
Like 33,000, roughly. That's what the census said. Might have been a little bit more, a little bit less. And it might be a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because we don't always answer the census and be truthful about how many people living in our house, right?
Right. That's true.
So we understand that. But it's
so like
1,000
people is only voting per election, man.
And listen, it's like 18,000 registered voters.
Right.
Right.
So Chester, if we actually came out and we actually voted and we actually agreed on something and we actually had meetings to talk about who we're voting for and why, we would basically play almost as the seat of Delaware County with 18,000 people. We will be able to take the power back if we agree to do it. But everybody's in different places. No one really wants to work together to do anything. So it becomes that much more difficult to do.
So I think part of this is because we don't have a clear leader.
Right?
That's not just for Chester. That's for that's for all black people.
Right, but I can't really talk about everybody, right?
Right.
But what I can focus on is these 4.8 miles we got right here called home.
Right.
In this area right here, we got a lot of factions, right? We got this side that's led by this side, and this side that's led by this side, and there's another side led by this side, right? And it seems like it's just everything bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
If we could really get to the point where each one of these sides, we say, hey, listen, despite how we feel about this, or we feel about that, or we feel about that, we all know that we need this area right here taken care of, right? So let's all vote along the same lines to get this area taken care of, and then let's battle it out afterwards once we got our foundation set.
Right.
Because we need something, like you said, we need to have some kind of strategy where we know the exact kind of candidate we looking for, and we know exactly what this candidate needs to deliver, and then we voting for people who agrees to deliver it.
That's it.
It
Right. I
don't
mean,
matter
you can't make it no more clear than that.
Yeah. That's it. But we don't have a clear one, we don't have no pathway, right? Like we don't have a clear path to this. And that's why I think that this Fusion Fridays, as well as this survey, I think is going to be powerful, because that's going to give us the information that we need to where we could say, okay, these are some true needs.
You ain't shit.
You right.
You ain't shit.
And then I think that from there, we could be able to say, okay, here's a platform of information that we have that everybody agrees on, and people can then be held accountable. Like, all right, well, are you, when you go and you get this position, are you willing to give this? Right. And we got a checklist now, because now we already know what everybody needs. Are you willing to give this? Are you willing to give this? And then once we get enough politicians lined up that agree to this, now you start seeing the actual change. Now you start seeing the actual progress. And then you can look at it like, all right, well, you said you was going to bring us this, John W., and you 3 years in the game and we still haven't seen it. So now John W. don't get reelected no more.
No.
Right? And now we putting our support towards the person that's going against John W., because now that person agreed to give that check in the box.
Right.
And that's what I mean when I say strategic voting. And I feel like until we get to the point where we got that, where we have lined out what we need, and then somebody leading the charge to where it's like, all right, no matter who's in office, this person is still here fighting for this checklist of things that we need. We need somebody leading that. And once we have that, I think that's what's going to get us what we need. So it's hard, but it's simple.
What is a politician? For me, a politician is a community servant. A
Absolutely.
politician is a person that sees, hears, and knows the problems in their community and puts their best foot forward to stop said problem.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
A politician is not a person that's here to enhance their pocketbook, their pockets, right? Or their portfolio for their children and make sure their children don't have to work or don't have to do anything, right? A politician should be for the people because you are elected by the people,
Right.
right? So when we think of politicians and we think of our area and we look at our school district and we look at the money that's not coming in and the money that came in and the money that went out, and we understand everything that's happening in the community, and we look at the old buildings in our area that are crumbling, that are falling, we look at the dilapidated properties, we look at the dirt, we look at the filth, and so we ask ourselves what politicians are doing about these things, right? If we have any politicians that aren't out in the community cleaning up, then you're not a politician to me, because it starts with you as a person, right?
Hmm.
If you think you're going to go into an office and get some things done and you're not in the community with a broom in your hand sweeping up, you're not going to get anything done because you don't care about us, right? When you think about the politics of Chester, it was always ran, like you said earlier, by the 5 families.
Hmm.
After the 5 families were moved out, it was ran by one family, one person, one situation, right? Broken down into different situations. When Obama became president, the Democrats took over and the Republicans dipped off. It's like there's no Republican Party in the city of Chester. No one's fighting. No one's going against what's happening. They're talking about it, but they're not really trying to step up and be elected. They're not really trying to step up and change anything because you don't see any. Right now, we got write-in for Republican ballot for a state representative. There's nobody even running for the Republican side,
Right.
which is crazy. So it's like, yo, what do we want as voters? What do we see, and what do we know about the people that we're voting for? Are you asking questions? But if there's no place for you to sit and talk to these people, then you can't hold them accountable in no place. They don't have town. I'm not saying they, because I know there are a few that do town halls and do be out in the community and are there to be asked. But during election season, this is what should be happening.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, for what it's worth, for a callback, the person who's supposed to be sitting there in front of them, holding them accountable, are the committee people.
Mm. Mm.
Those are the people who we supposed to be electing. Those voices that we know that's gonna hold the line for us, right? That's gonna be out there. So when these elected officials are coming by and campaigning and saying, "Hey, I want to be the endorsed candidate for the Democratic Party," right? Or I want to be the endorsed candidate for the Republican Party on the other side, the person that they're coming and saying this to is the committee person. And then once they get elected, then they hold town halls for everybody. But the fielding process, that's done by the committee person.
So Tom Nixon, I've never had a problem. If a politician wants to be held accountable, which they all should want to be, there's no way you can be a politician and be like, I'm ducking accountability. I'm stepping to the side of accountability. If you're stepping to the side of accountability as a politician, you're not a politician, you're a thief.
Yeah.
If you're ducking accountability as a politician, you're not a politician, you're a thief. Because now you're stealing something and you don't want nobody to ask you anything and don't nobody question, right? So I get what you're saying. It is about asking the real questions. It's about asking the right questions. And it's about you seeing what a person is worth. Don't run and hide. Be able to be accountable. Be able to stand up and say, yes, I did this, I did that, I did this, but I'm not doing this, and I'm helping this, and I'm doing this. Show me the work that you're doing.
Right.
Because I can't see it. And if you go too many years without seeing it, like, I'm not going to trust you anymore. And that's where we are right now. We're in a community that doesn't trust. We're in a community that doesn't want to trust.
Right.
They don't want to trust, right? Like Drew was just talking about Fusion Fridays, right? Fusion Fridays was an idea that we came up with. Me and him came up together. We're going out into the community. We're going to promote CMP. But on the other hand, we're going to ask the community members, because that's what it's about, getting information from the people that are in this community on how the government, how the police, how any services that are here can do a much better job. And if they're doing a great job, we're going to give them credit for the great job that they're doing.
Bingo.
Right.
That's what it was all about, right? So we're going to continue and we're going to try to keep on doing it. But you know how I get sometimes. I say I'm not supposed to be for everything. I got a ton of stuff on my plate. You feel me? So if something is getting done on the other side, let it get done. Let me help out. I'm okay with being an Indian, even in my own situation.
Right.
I will be an Indian to help you get that done. Why? Because that's who I am. I'm okay because I'm a chief somewhere. I ain't gotta be a chief in every situation. You feel me? So you have to understand that, and the politicians have to understand that, and the elected officials have to understand that, and the community members have to understand that you can't always be a chief. Sometimes an Indian is needed. An Indian is needed to kill somebody, to knock somebody off, or to accomplish something for their tribe.
Right.
Chief don't always do that.
Right.
You're right.
So,
and you got to be able to play all positions.
absolutely.
So, you know, it's not just one position. It's not just the GM or the head coach. You got to be able to play all positions. You got to be able to do every position on the field.
Absolutely.
And we're not seeing that, man. We're not seeing it. And I think it's hindering us, man. And it's a shame because there's some good quality people and folks that really deserve it. And I mean, you know, it's a thing like our ancestors definitely set this up for us, man. They set this up. People died, bro. They died. They literally died for us to be able to vote. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, are we taking it for granted? Or is the people that we putting in office, they just had a wrong mentality of the seat? Or we not demanding too much from the seat or from the elected officials?
I feel like we stopped value. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that. That's it. I just was saying that I believe it was all of them. That was it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was a wall put up between generations. And this generation that's coming up now, and I want to say all the way up, like I'm 46. My grandmother made sure I went with her when she voted. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother made sure to tell me, hey, Republican, or you ain't going to get no job, right? That's when they were still running the city. You feel me?
Right.
You ain't going to be able to get this. I'm like, Grandma, they just put a handicap placard in front of your house. That's what you get for being a Republican. You feel me? So that was a system that they installed, but that was also a belief that they had because they came from down south, and the Republican Party that's where it was. That was free the slaves. That was the thing. So they come up north, and they become Republican. Then things change, right? Then things get a little murky, and we stop communicating between generations. And I said that's when crack hit. Because now you got the young bulls making money and they not caring about what the old heads got to say. Old head, ain't nobody trying to hear that. You feel me? Like, and that devastated our community. That caused us not to trust each other. Right?
Right. It definitely caused a division. It definitely caused a division.
If we didn't know each other, us three, and we walked into a Dunkin' Donuts, and Drew was up front ordering coffee, and his coffee was cold, and they said Drew to step to the side. And you walk up to order your coffee. Are you going to order coffee? Or are you going to say, "Nah, I want him to get his hot coffee first"?
I'm gonna probably order my own. I'm gonna order my order. I'm gonna put my order in.
So that
I mean, he already ordered, so his is on hold. So no, I'm next up.
He got his coffee. It's not hot. He got his coffee.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, this ain't hot.
Oh, gotcha.
Order. No. If he gets hot coffee, then I get hot coffee. And the person in the back of me gets hot coffee. But if he doesn't get his hot coffee, I'm going to get.
How you think I'm going to get hot coffee? Right. I see the concept.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So if we don't adopt that concept outside in the community to make sure everyone gets everything they deserve, and we speak for everyone, I mean everyone, then we'll continue to lose.
Even the non-voters.
Man, they'll make America great again, and in 25 years, we'll be right back to, slanging pickaxes.
I mean, we almost there. You know, like, I mean, if the prices keep going up, I mean, we can't even afford to live. So, nah, P, you hit it. You hit it on the nose, man. And, the accountability thing, we play that word. That word is so major. And, I mean, I just feel like I like what Circle is doing. they putting the energy in the youth, man. We gotta instill it. That's where we break the curses at. You know what I'm saying? We gotta instill it. I know Drewski over there with his child and his son. I know that's what he's doing with his son. You know what I'm saying? He's grooming. Like P, you was groomed to vote. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, it has been broken, but we gotta attack it. Even if a mentor program go into a school, man, or we adopt it as a mentor program, and add that in as a part of the curriculum of the mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Of voting, of everything that we're talking about, so we can make it important for them, so they won't have to feel like they have a choice. You don't have a choice. Your vote is a major thing. It's like having $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Of work in the community, though, not actual foot like monies, but I'm saying for the betterment of the community. That's why the communities keep recycling, because all we doing is putting another person in charge to do it their way. You know what I'm saying? And then we losing something in the process. So every generation of politicians that's coming through, they playing with Chester like it's house money. You know what I'm saying? Like they got house money, and you know, of course they getting kickbacks or whatever is going on, but it's not fair. It's not fair to the residents. It's not fair to anyone that lives in our community. So, you know, it's just an open question, man, and it's an open discussion. So you can take it from here, P.
I want you brothers to build your own politician. What traits would you want your politician to have? Right? And you know, Drew, I you know I love you, but I'm about to put you on Front Street real quick. Drew to me is a man that could run for Congress. He's
Right.
ex-military. He loves his community. He understands finances. He brings things together, right? To me, that's really all I need. I don't need a whole lot of information from Drew. I love Drew's accountability. I love how Drew can he can talk to the people he should be talking to and get them to understand and say it in a way that they understand. And me, not so much. I come in, I'm like, right?
Right.
But Drew can, yo, P, chill, right? Calm down, right? No, we got to talk to him like this. And I understand that. So whenever I think about Drew, I think about congressman, you feel me? I think about senator, you feel me? Like councilman maybe first, but he's a person I would say should be in the running to do these things.
Right. And the voice of the people.
But when you're in politics and you really don't, he has a stomach for war, right? Without a doubt. But why are you fighting war amongst your own people when you're trying to help them? So that's what turns the person off. You feel me? So everything that Drew is the perfect thing for me. You feel me? And that's how I would draw my next candidate for any political system, any office, right? But y'all draw your politicians real quick.
So one, can I just thank you, P? They was kind words, man. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Now that if George, if you want to go ahead and go, I ain't want to step on your toes.
Nah, go, Drew. You got the mic, bro.
So I would say that one, I would need the politician above to have a heart for people, right? So I know we live in this capitalistic nation, but I would want the politician to intuitively put people above profits. So that's like number one for me, right? You got to have the right heart for it. Secondly, I would say I'd like to see somebody strategic, because we playing a game right now. Like I feel like we are so far behind in this game that without strategy and without some kind of forward thinking plan, I don't know that we have a pathway to winning. And then I would say that the person would need to be like a charismatic person, right? Like you got to be able to build relationships with people to be able to get something done. Because if you the kind of person that you get elected, but then everybody see you got a poor attitude, you not relatable, just people don't want to be around you. That's not going to be the kind of person that's going to be able to build the coalition that we need. So I would say they'd have to have their heart aligned. They would have to have that mind right for strategy, and they would absolutely need to be able to relate enough to be charismatic enough to get something done. I think that would be those would be the characteristics that I would want to see for the
Wow,
ideal position.
wow, that's major.
And
Well,
Drew is that type of person to talk to you, Miss Teresa. He doesn't have a problem with talking to his community. But again, like I said, that's my guy. And I see him doing big things for our community because he has the heart to do it, right? Yeah. Go ahead, George.
I mean, it's only a couple major things for me. Leadership by example. Um, it's a big one. You know, I mean, taking on a political position, you're responsible for other people. That's basically saying that I'm going to rep these people. So whatever that looks like, it's the same thing as you being in the household, the man of your house or the parent of your house. You're saying you're going to rep your family, your kids, your wife, your mother, anything attached to you, you represent in that way. So I mean, leadership by example is a big one. Honesty. I mean, honesty. I get it. We all got some type of past. We all did some things on a narrow mindset. But once you start going into these seats and you're representing other people and you're taking on communities and putting them on your back, it has nothing to do with personal and individual accolades and stuff that you're doing by yourself, man. So
Yeah.
all your decisions is being based off of another child, of another family, of another situation. So every decision that you make is based off of everybody, including everybody, from poverty level to working class to college graduates to city workers to no favors in between. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, personable. You got to be personable, like Drewski said. You got to be able to come out in the community, and you got to be liked. You got to be liked, bro. Like you got to be liked. It's important. It shows your character. You can't just say I'm just this person and I'm just gonna rule and it is whatever I say and I'm just gonna be disrespectful to any situation. I'm just gonna be myself because I already got your vote. Or I'm already got the seat. So now I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna make sure my people put on. You're gonna have to kiss up to me to be able to get anything done. You know what I'm saying? So like, I loved how Barack Obama just came in and he just worked his personality through the whole United States, man. He established great relationships with them other countries, like just the perfect politician. I mean, like nobody's perfect. I remember I had this conversation with somebody and they was like, well, he smokes cigarettes. So what? That's his business. Like they
And if
worrying
that's
about
the worst
Barack
thing you
Obama
got to say
smoking
about Bill,
cigarettes.
is that he smokes
Like,
cigarettes,
listen,
Nah, they was talking
right,
about he smoked more than cigarettes, right? He smoked
right.
cigarette weed, right?
No,
That
but
was
I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about? Like that's what does that matter? I'm just saying, like,
doesn't
so
it's
when we talking about leadership, I'm saying carry it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Carry it like that. Speak for the people. You know what I'm saying? He's still one of the most liked presidents, man.
it's,
And I'm
it's more
talking through all races, generational. He's a generational president, man. So
right.
when you have these type of roles, even in the mayor's position and in our cities and boroughs and all that, that's what I expect. That's what I expect, even more so now because you're reachable. You know what I'm saying? We see you every day in the forefront. This is what we want, man. So and we're not getting that, bro. We're
We're,
not
we're,
getting that.
we're not going to get that because the moment he took over, they got to putting on their seats again,
Right,
right? Because they were scared.
right,
One thing about a person that continues to bully somebody, when someone finally steps up, you notice just how jacked up that person was, right?
Right.
What they weren't receiving, right? So the anger, who was the person attacking Obama every day? Where is his passport? Trump. Who was the person doing all that? Trump. You feel me? Like he built his
He
whole
started that birther. Yeah.
Right.
The moment Obama got elected, he's like, I'm going in, right? I'm going in because I'm gonna just give them myself, right?
Mhm.
And then for all of the black people that love Trump, that didn't have a problem with Trump, they was like, okay, I don't have no problem with him. He's not a politician. He's different, right? So first election was, you notice every time he wins, it's a woman he's running against,
Right.
So then that comes out. Oh yeah, we scared. If we already let an African American be president, we can't let a woman run the country.
Right.
We're gonna be fighting with everybody. But what is Trump doing right now?
He's causing division through everything, man. We can't go nowhere.
What's that? The birther movement, but don't tread on me. What was that? It's another like a campaign. What was this?
Don't tread on me. Yeah, with the snake you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They started a whole campaign thing around that, didn't they?
Nah, but that been around. That don't tread on me thing, that been around. Like that's another one of the subtle southern innuendos. Like don't if the person who has the Confederate flag, 9 times out of 10, right next to it, they're gonna have that "Don't tread on me."
Right.
So they said. So Tom Nixon said there is no perfect candidate, and
I agree with
no.
But there are candidates who carry it perfectly for what we need.
Right. So it's all about being able to accept where he's not perfect at.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be. There are no perfect people. There are no perfect situations. There are no perfect circumstances. That doesn't apply. Right. So I agree with you.
A politician can't be perfect.
No, he can't be.
A politician's job, you can't please everybody. It's too many competing interests. What you can do is you could come up with a strategic plan to help the most people that you can. And Obama did that very effectively.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest, my man changed the way healthcare functioned in this country. People have been trying to do that since FDR. And they failed, bro. And his administration did it. Economically, they gave us Dodd-Frank. That was some of the most strong and intuitively consumer protective legislation for money that this country has seen. And we in trouble now because they gutted it.
Yeah. They just knocked everything over, man.
On purpose. Like, get this shit out of here.
Yeah.
But not because it was bad, but because it was worked. It worked. It was bad for them.
Yes, man. Yes.
So we do not support Obama against the Senate and Republicans. We have to fight and not try to be so bipartisan.
I don't know if I agree with that statement. I think that the people supported him as much as they could. But I think people no control over it.
No, I think people really didn't know, like, okay, with Trump and if Trump has a person that he's rocking out with for the Senate or the Congress, he's showing up and saying, this is my person. I support this person. Vote for this person so she can help me. He can help me do what I need to do. You know what I mean? And I don't remember really seeing Obama do a lot of that. You know what I mean? Because I guess, I don't know why, but he didn't.
But
another thing.
The people he did it for.
I know he did it in Chicago, right? I know I saw a couple of those things, but we did drop the ball. The voting public did drop the ball and not give him complete support, right? A Democratic Senate, a Democratic Congress, so he can get everything he needs to get done. We dropped the ball there, right? So now he got a bunch of Republicans sitting in there and they not saying, no, you can't do anything.
So it's worth saying that history has showed us that normally, like to the 80-something percentile, the party of the president does not usually win the midterms. That's an ebb and a flow. So yeah, we didn't, right? But yeah, you could argue that we didn't, but it could also be argued that this is just the ebb. Like everything has an ebb and a flow.
Right.
And I think that America is divided enough to where that ebb and flow is like I think it's inevitable, right? Every time we get a little bit to where people are like, oh, whoa, 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 right? Then that other side, they come up and they like, no, 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 and then they pull it back, and then we
Yeah,
get fed up and then pull it back, and then
yeah,
it's the pendulum swinging. So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't
I
know.
agree.
Yeah, it happens too consistently to say that we could really place blame on the voters. I think really what it comes down to is that not enough people understand.
Right, right.
If
So
more people understood,
how do we get people to understand? Like, so when I started the radio station, we had Chestorians. We was supposed to be a teaching group where we taught civics. We set up here how to vote, when to vote, why to vote, and it just never happened. Right? It was space to do it. It was space to get it done. And I put this out all the time. This is a community radio station, and what's near and dear to the community is this is the place it should come from. You know what I mean? Like, and we need our community members that have the information to want to make the time to share it. Right? If you want things to get better, it's going to take us communicating with each other. It's going to take us talking to each other. I don't care when you talk. I don't care how you talk, but you have to talk. We have to communicate. So things don't happen the way you want them to, right? But now we're at a point where we're watching and we're seeing all that's happening in the White House, all that's happening in the Senate, all that's happening in the Congress. And the question is, when will it touch down here? Right. I mean, because when it touches down, it's like being in the eye of the storm. We'll be tossed all over the place. Right. Miss Zuline Mayfield was talking about the warehouses that are popping up everywhere. I've never seen a warehouse built and 2 years later it's still empty.
right? And that's happening all over the country.
Yeah.
So what are you building these warehouses for?
Right.
Like somebody, I need questions. They got some big joints they building over there on 76 of Philly. I'm like, damn, they tore down the tankers over here and they building.
I mean, bro, listen, it's a big joint that they got on 4th Street in Chester.
Right. I said that. Right, but
there's one in the city, bro. Yes.
Yeah, it's
they
right
popping
here
up in the city.
It's one right down the street in Marcus Hook.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we ain't gotta go that far to Marcus Hook though. Go right across the street from Fisher Tank.
I see that. It's already here.
Yeah,
I don't think it's I think it's in the area. It's like, you know, the rats are here, but they're not, it's not seen yet. So when they finally come up, then it's I'm like, man, I told you. I've been telling people for years, bro, we got to pay attention to what's happening. We got to want to educate our kids. We got to want to educate the community. Look, it's cool to laugh. It's cool to joke. It's cool to be at the bar. It's cool to chill. But when it happens, bro, where you going to be at? Right? Because if you're in the bar, it's over for you. You feel me? When it breaks down, like you ain't in the house protecting your kids or nothing. You at the bar and you're drunk. So it's over.
Right.
You wake up the next morning, you in the detention camp, and you don't know why. Well, we got rid of all the Mexicans, so y'all was next.
Wow.
We got rid of all the illegals, so y'all was next. And y'all already know what y'all going back to. We making America great again. I took those words serious when I heard them. That was a threat. Because America ain't never been great for none of my people. I don't recall a time when it was great. I recall a time when it was okay. I recall a time when we were progressing, but great, no. So, you know, we need to understand these things. I think right now what we have in the city of Chester, as far as our mayor and his conglomerate of people, is a welcome change, right? But we also still need to hold them accountable. We had a young lady the other day who was talking about the renters registration, right? And how her apartment complex was messed up and she had to go through talking to people and reaching out to new people. These are the problems that we have, right? And if we're not addressing the problems that our constituents are facing, are we really politicians? So, man, we got a ton of great comments. Black people have to realize the importance of voting in every election. Every election. My mom said, my grandma used to tell me, my grandma told me a story about her family back in the day. She was like, her uncle got hung from a tree for voting.
Wow.
That shook me. to a point where it's like I'm voting every time. That was
Mhm.
my way. That was my middle finger to them. You feel me? Like, if you're gonna put a middle finger up, at least let them know what the middle finger stands for. Ain't no sense in putting up no decoded middle finger and yeah, they don't know that I don't care about my community. I don't care about what's happening in the school district. But you're having children that are going to this school district.
Right.
You're raising kids in this area and you're not concerned with none of that. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. Drew, you ain't got anything?
No, I've just been sitting here pondering on these last thoughts. Y'all really got me with them the warehouses, man, like that. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like, is this gonna be internment camps? Like, so you got my head a little dizzy, to be honest with you. Cause now I'm running through different scenarios.
I explained it to my son. I said, bro, we got to leave. We got to be out of here in 5 years, man. 25 years from now, if things keep going the way they're going right now, where else are we going to be?
Nah, so
Right.
that's a fact. And this was the voting rights thing. Now, they didn't do it as bad as I thought they was going to, because I really thought that they was going to just kill our ability to even report voting rights violations.
Right.
But this was just as bad strategically because, again, proven intent without someone flat out saying I did this because you're not proving intent.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Like that.
It's
So
almost impossible, bro.
it's almost impossible.
Yeah. But I just think that to bring it back to like the local officials and politicians, we keep talking about educating y'all, and we gotta put our people on, man. We gotta put our people on. We gotta start, like I said, even if it's like, okay, we could go to the seniors in the high schools that's getting ready to graduate, bro, and getting ready to start being at voter age. We gotta work the importance of how it affects us. It affect every generation has been affected by all the politicians, man.
Right.
Every last one of them left something on us, some stain in our community. And okay, we might have got a light turned on or something, but no turn for the change. Nothing. A bunch of broken promises, man. It's like we just keep getting in these new relationships. You know what I'm saying? And they just bad relationships, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nothing prospering, no peace. Just think how you want your relationship to be. You know what I'm saying? So we having these bad relationships with these people that's in office, man. So that gotta be a wake-up call. Like, it's a wake-up call for me, man. I mean, I'm really like being vocal now in politics, and not like being like in the politician lane, but as a voter. You know what I'm saying? Learning more, learning a position, learning what each title, what each politician, what he actually does. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the people that's really making decisions for us, man.
For sure.
Literally, it's like having somebody making decisions in your crib. So somebody just get to come in here and say, "Peon, want that couch over there." You gotta move the couch. Jordan, Jordan got to sleep in a different room. Right. Drew, your son gotta he don't have to speak no more. He don't have to have manners. Yeah, like, right. It's like it's the same mentality. Giving these people that.
They've done that. They've done that. The fact that we can't discipline our children anymore, right? The fact that our kids are growing up with this, I don't know, like, you can't hit me. You feel me? Because if you hit me, I'm gonna call CYS. CYS gonna come in here and take you away. Like, discipline. If I don't discipline him, who you think gonna discipline him?
Right.
Oh, we want to discipline him because we need the prisons, we need the money, we need all the.
We need for y'all to keep making mistakes, man. We don't want to fix nothing. See, they don't want things to change. They don't want things to go in a direction. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep it in the alley, back alley, doorway. They want it to stay like that. They want to be divided. They want to have you divided. They don't want you liking certain people on purpose. They don't want us united. And we're making it easy. We're making it so easy for them, man.
The only people I don't like are the people that sit in rooms and talk about me and try to remove my impact on the community. For the last 7 years, I've given my blood, sweat, and tears to Chester. You feel me? And I haven't really asked for a lot back from my city. You know what I mean? For the last 7 years, I've worked jobs to help the city of Chester. You feel me? To help convicted felons be able to understand that their life ain't over, because my life wasn't over. I've been locked up so many times, it's pathetic. You feel me?
Right.
Locked up 6 months after graduating from Chester High School, and every year after that, it was something else until 2006 when I went upstate and I said, I'm done. Right? I can't keep doing this. I came home and I didn't like how things were moving. Right? I tried to change a couple things and it didn't work there. And I said, all right, we're gonna start a radio station so I can gather the people to talk about the things that need to change in our community. We interviewed Thaddeus Kirkland, brought him in. You feel me? I wasn't trying to attack him because to me he was a family friend. To me,
Right.
I loved him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he wrote me
Right.
a letter for the state of parole for the parole board to get out of jail. So Thad, I'm not going to attack you, but I do want to know, what are you doing?
Right.
I trusted you.
And we got to hold you accountable.
If I can't hold you accountable, you're not really a politician.
Right.
You're my uncle. You feel me?
Right.
So
Right.
I gotta be able to hold you accountable. So we started there. Politicians, I say CMPradio.net is 8-0 when it comes to like supporting politicians. We've never anybody you've supported has won every time.
Right.
Right. So getting your name out, talking about why you're running, what you plan on doing is important to me. Right. It should be important to our community. But if it's not, then it won't be, and then they won't ever say, oh no, this is important. Let me do this. Because if I don't, CMP Radio gonna be talking about me. You feel me? And the community gonna know, and they gonna feel some type of way. Now listen, I took a year off. I had no other choice. If I didn't, I would have been up here drinking again and doing all types of crazy stuff to heal myself, right? Understanding that if you love me, you know who I am. I had to heal myself. If I didn't heal myself, I wasn't right for you or anybody else. So I took a year off, and I see the brothers that are out here now. Jameer, shout out to Jameer with the journalism, doing this thing.
Yeah.
Keep on doing your thing, bro. I tell them all the time. You feel me? I'll never hate on you, bro. I want you to do. Hold them accountable. Set fire to their ass. I'm right here with you. I got your back. You feel me? No problem. You feel me? Dakeem. You feel me? The brothers that are in the community talking about the things.
The new up and coming generation. Yeah.
I have no problem. I'm not those old heads that want to throw a wall up. Oh, this is all mine. No, let's share it. But what happens when we're out here and we're not sharing accordingly? We're not helping each other enough. We lose every time. And we can't keep losing because eventually there won't be nothing left to lose.
No, bro, we keep getting set back. Every official that's taking over, bro, we get set back more and more, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't even see it. It's like playing hangman, and we got the head, the body, like it's only like a leg left, man. And we still playing games. We still playing games and politic games and talking about people and doing all these antics and playing with people's livelihood. We making a joke out of people's livelihood, man. Like real literally clowns, like they might as well just be clowns. Clowns make 40 grand a year. You know what I'm saying? So they might as well apply for one.
Clowns make 40 grand
at one of the major circuses.
I'm about
Wrangler and Barney. Yeah. I mean, listen, some of these brothers doing it for free. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I definitely know a lot of clowns that don't get paid.
Exactly, Drewski, like for real. Like with the shoes, the nose, the blowout and everything, man.
All that.
And the theme music.
Right now,
go ahead, man.
We got the governor's seat up for grabs, the lieutenant governor, and like I said, Mary Gay Scanlon's congressional seat, and Carol Kazim's state representative seat, right? Again, like we said, we're not here to position or talk about any politician running, right? We're talking about the importance of voting, period. Right. We're talking about the importance of making sure the person that you're voting for is speaking for you and yours. You feel me? And it's not just you in your house, it's you in your block, it's you in your community, it's you in your neighborhood, it's you in your whole city. Literally. Is voting for this person good for us?
Right.
Not good for me. Because a lot of people ask that question, man. Like, this is my friend. I gotta vote for it. I gotta vote for her. Is he really for the community or is he really for himself?
Right.
How does he show up for the community? Is he out there in the community? Is he doing things for the community? Is he helping the community? How does he answer that bell? Everybody has a bell they answer to. I don't want to hear that he's answering the bell at the Fifth Street Bar. I want to hear that he's answering the bell at one of these schools, that he's going into the school and teaching the kids and showing the kids and bringing other people in there that have jobs that can come in and help the kids see it. Because they say if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Right.
So these are the things that we need to improve in our community. These are the ways we need to ask our politicians, are you acceptable?
Yes, P. And speaking for us in the rooms, not to cut you off, and speaking for us in the rooms that we're not in. You know what I'm saying? We hiring these folks to speak for us, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like having an attorney or something or whatever, or somebody of representation, and they are your voice. They're speaking for you, man. So, like, what are they saying when you're not in the room? They cutting deals. They doing all kinds of shady mess with our livelihood, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, enough is enough, man. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the mentality with our community. And that's going to be one of my drives going forward, P. And brothers, when we start talking off the record, when we come off of this, that's going to be one of my initiatives I'm adding on with my advocacy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that. We all need to talk to our community. We all need to hold these forums. We need to do this more often. Shout out to George for hitting me up and saying he wanted to do it. Like I said, we can do it whenever we can do it. We're going to talk about what we should talk about. That's what the radio station is for. Anybody I can do this for anybody. Listen, I don't even have to be on here.
Right.
Right. And you can talk about what you want to talk about, what you want your community to know about. This is a community radio station. Right. A lot of people feel some type of way over the sponsor that I have. Wasn't nobody else giving me any money. Wasn't nobody else going to give me any money to do what I'm doing at the radio station. So you take the money you can take. Right. But I'm here. I'm here for the community. I'm standing up for the community. We go out Fusion Friday. We do 5 Fusion Fridays a year. Rain. If the rain comes, then we do 4. 1 day, 2 days. Hopefully we don't get a whole bunch of rain this year. Right. But Fusion Friday is a way of understanding what the community needs. It's a way of talking to the leadership in our community. This Fusion Friday, this Fusion Friday, I wanted to be able to go out into the community and help, you feel me, the residents of the community understand how important it is to vote, right?
Right.
Because if we don't understand it, so voter registration, Labor 413 usually handles voter registration. Because when we first started, Pastorians was doing voter registration. We was doing all that stuff. When you find somebody in your community that's good at doing that thing, you call them and you get them to show up and do that thing. You don't have to repeat the cycle.
Right.
You don't have to. The wheel has already been invented.
Yep.
So we're gonna let Drew. I was gonna let Drew give us his summary, man, and the state of our community, and what we doing next? Like what's up? What's on your mind before we take it out?
Yeah. So I think that our next thing, like, we could do some actionable next steps. So like you brought up about going in and possibly doing a voter registration drive for the seniors. I think that's a good idea. But instead of it just being a drive, maybe if we do like a quick 10-minute Q&A, right? Top frequently asked questions. Because I know they got questions, right? And I know they don't know the answers. So we find the top 10 questions and answers, ask the questions. Have you ever thought that? Read it. Nah, don't read that comment. Ms. Lee, you're hilarious.
Queen Lee. The voice of the people.
Absolutely. And so we for sure, I agree that we should continue to communicate and educate, right? And we got a bunch of videos because I've been doing this off and on with different podcasts for years now. So we got a collective of videos that we can weave together and create a series just off of stuff that we've already said. Now maybe putting it in loop and rotation so people can have access to it. Because I think that y'all on to something. How do we bridge that gap from our community not knowing to actually moving in the know so they could see value as to what we're doing? Because it is important. And brother George, I appreciate you for hitting up P and saying, "Come on, let's do this, man." Thank you for
Right.
that, because
Yeah, man.
we need it, man.
Mhm.
And listen, I P, as always, I appreciate you, man, being a platform, being a voice, continuously working. That's our only pathway. Now, our only path is to educate our people. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody's coming.
Nobody.
So
We like Katrina
gotta
on one of them roofs. Remember when the people was on the roof? Like, I still
and
remember
Yankees
that vision,
like,
bro.
Bush don't care. Facts.
Yes. Yes.
What did my man Kanye West say? George Bush don't care about black people.
That's what he said.
Good. Yeah.
So when you think about the politicians that are in power now, the politicians that have been in power for years, why would they care about us? It's not. I understand why people feel the way they feel, why they don't vote, why you feel isolated, why you feel insecure about your position. But if you don't do your homework, my cousin used to tell me that all the time, because you got to study. Like, what do you mean study? I'm in the street. He's like, no, you got to study. You got to study these people. You got to understand how they come, when they come, what they walk, when they walk up, when they got a problem. I can now look at a person walking across the street and say, he about to come and start some shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just by his gait, just by his walk, just by his demeanor, just by how he looked. You feel me? I had to learn that. He said, because you're going to be in the street, so you gotta read people's body language. You feel me? And trust your instinct. So now, in the radio game, doing the radio, I need people to come here and talk about the things that they know, so our community can understand it. And we got to do our homework, right? We got to look up the people that's running, right? I'm not going to pull up anybody's anything, because I'm not in that mood right now, right? But if we look at a particular politician, we say he was in office, he or she was in office for this many years, this is what he did. And if you can't say he did anything for you, then he was not a good politician. He or she was not a good politician.
Right.
And you look back on the other side and you see somebody that's running and you say, oh, they did this, they did that, they're a good politician. Keep them in. As a matter of fact, you should be hyping her up the next time to run even higher and get up higher and bring somebody up underneath of her. Because that's how we get better. That's how
so our
things
voice could get louder. Exactly. Wow. This was deep, brothers. This was good stuff, man. Yeah, this was good stuff.
It will be better accepted from their peers. Absolutely. It will be better accepted from their peers. And I don't have a problem with the kids coming through here and talking about it. But we need to get the kids at a point where they understand just how important being a registered voter is. I don't care what party you claim. And I said this last week. The right wing, the left wing, all the wings on the same bird.
That's a fact.
And that bird been pooping on us for years.
What? Heavy.
You feel me?
Heavy.
So
loads.
I'm of the ilk to say the bird and let's create our own party, but people don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And at some point it's got to happen, because they're going to keep on playing. You think these Republicans and Democrats ain't friends? You think they're not sitting in there laughing and joking about?
They're literally funded by the same corporations.
Yes,
so
bro.
If they ain't friends, the person that's paying them are.
Right.
And that's the real key.
Yes, Drew. It's like having a lawyer and your lawyer going there and a public defender. They cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? They already they play golf together and everything, man. Yep. And your livelihood on the line. So it's the same difference. It's the same difference, man. Yes, man.
How do we get rid of okay, so there was something I was watching the other day about I forgot, man. I be forgetting things as soon as I see it, right? That's that stroke in me. But there was somebody that wrote a letter, a secret letter to someone else, and ended up talking about how corporations can take over politics. Do you know anything about that letter?
Yeah, so I've heard about it. I think this is the letter that they claim that it was predicting the world wars.
I don't know if it was predicting the world wars, but he was talking about how corporations can take over politics, right, and get the moving things for corporations becoming the people that are putting people in positions. And right now, that's what we have.
Sure, that's literally what's happening right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think he became a Supreme Court judge or something like that, right? I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna send it to you, Drew.
Okay. I think you talking about Justice Scalia or whatever, where he was part of the. So, but let's talk more about that
Yeah,
offline.
we gonna talk. I'm
Okay.
gonna look that up, right? And
Because I don't want to say the wrong stuff.
I don't
But
want
I
to get it
think
wrong
that's what
either,
you're
so I
talking
don't want
about.
to talk. Right.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening now, right?
Yeah.
Corporations run America. If you're giving a little bit of donations, you're giving some extra money. I think there's even a slush fund right now for all the Republicans on Trump's side to get some money over there, right? For their
Yeah, but the way
campaign.
they do it, so it's as long as you donate into a PAC that's representing a cause and not an actual representative, then you could give unlimited money. As a result, I believe it was the Citizens United case. I think that was the one that actually allowed them to give unlimited money to super PACs. And as a result of that, that's what allows corporations where they got unlimited funds to be able to be like, all right, well, we're going to fund this super PAC. And then that super PAC could put unlimited money into different candidates as long as the candidates is fitting their mold.
Right.
And that's essentially how the corporations control both sides now. Because
Right.
they funding everybody, right? Kingmakers.
Kingmakers, bro.
And meanwhile, we like they're thinking like, oh, red side, blue side, Bloods, Crips, just
Right.
on the level. You know what I mean?
They up there drinking the purple Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
Sipping on some scissor.
Sipping on some scissor.
Right.
So yes, Miss Teresa Scott Good. Involving the seniors is critical to me as well, right? Because how else will we know where we were if we don't involve the seniors? So there's never a moment where I don't want senior involvement. I need senior involvement. You feel me? We just ended Project Engage this weekend where we had intergenerational storytelling, seniors and youth talking to each other, interviewing each other, trying to get stories out about the things that happen in Chester, the things that contribute to the way we feel about seniors or the way we feel about youth. And there was a lot of change in understanding how young men are brought up, right? How young men are molded underneath of not paying attention and not caring about. So I think it was a good Project Engage, and we're going to look to do that again. And I am super proud of the brothers on this call. I'm super proud of the brothers and the sisters in the comments. We have to change the way we view each other. We have to change the way we view politics, and we have to really understand our children, right? So,
I agree thoroughly.
Right. So we're out of here. Any last words for you, fellas?
No, I mean, the most important part of voting is registering. So you can't vote if you're not registered. So, so that's part of our movement as well. We can't wait for the elections to start trying to get registration up. Right. You should already be registered. Right. So even when we start our Fusion Fridays and all that, that's going to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Getting our adults registered, man. Or, the age group appropriate. We're going to start having folks already registered, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's, like I said, I'm going to keep on with the advocacy, man. Yeah. Because enough is... Go ahead, Pip.
That's what it's all about, right? Walking and talking to your neighborhood, right? Walking through your neighborhood. I remember I was walking. It was a time I didn't have a car, so I was walking to the store, and my man pulled me over. He's like, "Man, what you doing walking?" I said, "I'm good, man. The city's safe, but it ain't that safe." I said, "Maybe not. It is for me." Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not doing anything to anybody. Now, when I was out there doing things to people, it was different.
It's a little different. Right. You don't got to walk like that.
If I get shot, it's going to be by accident.
Right.
It's not going to be nobody trying to hit me.
Right.
It's going to be I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You feel me? And that would be my fault. But, I am extremely proud of my city, right? The things that we've been able to do over the past 5 years, since 2020, right? The past 6 years, right? The summers that we've had without a whole lot of violence, right? I want to continue that. I need to continue that. I need that to keep on going. So for all my people out there that are in the streets, for all my people out there that are mad or frustrated, man, call somebody, talk to somebody. You already know you can call me, 484-802-2383. Anytime you want to talk, anytime you need some help, man, call me, man. I can help you. I'm telling you, I might not be able to help you the way you want me to help you, but I'll help you in another way, right? And it's not like CMPRadio.net, man. I want to thank my brothers for stopping through and having this conversation with us, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, brothers.
Tuesday is the day, May 19th. Do they close registration, and is voter registration open back up after the primary, Drew?
So they close registration, not like they don't really close it. It's cutoffs, right? So in order for you to vote in the primary, I think you had to be registered by
May 4th.
Yeah, May 4th. Now, say you registered on May 5th. You could still vote in the general, you just didn't make the cutoff for the primary.
Okay.
So they're not closing registration. Registration is continuous. It's on a continuous rolling basis.
Right.
But you got to meet the cutoff in order to be registered to vote in the actual election that you're looking to vote in.
Awesome. Well, we got that. Anything else you want to say, George? It's getting dark where you at?
Yeah, it is, bro. You know, the lights is coming on, so it's time to get in. But appreciate y'all brothers, man. We're gonna continue this conversation behind the scenes and on the scenes. And let's vote these chumps out of here, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
Drew,
peace, brothers.
You want to say?
Nope. I appreciate y'all, man. It's a great show.
Right.
Let's go. Peace. CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.